All right, let's proceed. So we left off here trying to submit an education award. So I'm just going to go through this quickly so we can go to Basecamp Manager reports. Let me turn on my microphone again. All right, my microphone's on. Apologies for that. Let me just remove the video panel. All right, so to submit an education award, you go here again to this section of Leadership Central, and then just click on the drop-down box, and you can look for the members. As you notice, in this video, I've hidden for privacy reasons all the other members' names, except for Brenna, but the point is you'll be able to see everyone. You'll see all the members in your club, and just choose the member you want to submit the award for. Okay, and then after you do that, then the next step you do is select your education program. So we still have the traditional program going on. Okay, so you can see all the traditional awards, but what we're interested in is the pathway awards. So there's only going to be one there, which is called Online Effective Coaching. Come July 1, 2020, next year, all the other awards will go away, so it will be rather simpler now. There's only going to be one option there or if they're in multiple paths, multiple options. But essentially, there's just going to be one pathway awards there. You notice that the system is smart enough to know where they are. This is a level 2 completion, and you can see here it says Online Effective Coaching level 2. So let me just highlight that over here. So Online Effective Coaching level 2. So it knows about that. You don't need to worry about it. You just select that. Okay, select that option. And then review and submit. So this is actually a great time saver for those of you who've been VPs much longer. You're aware in the old program we had to fill up the speech titles, the speech dates, and all those completion information, which it could get tedious, especially when it came to some of the bigger manuals. But now it's just a matter of just selecting the path and the level, and then that's it. You can then review it and then submit. It confirms, it then confirms that it has been submitted, and you're done. And that's how you submit an award for a person. Yes?
I have one question.
Yes, question.
So if you already approved it on Basecamp, if you haven't approved the award on Basecamp yet, will it show up?
Yes, I believe so, yes, it will show up. So the systems are not in sync in that sense. Like this system doesn't know that you approved it there. Okay, any more questions in the chat? Let's proceed now because we got a lot to cover and we have an hour left in our workshop. Yes, Leon?
There was a problem initially with people not logging the awards. They were approving them in Basecamp, but they weren't then going back and submitting them in the traditional way.
They're not.
So what would happen? The member would get credited with the award, but the club wouldn't get that credit on its DCP.
Yes, because they're doing step 1, but not going to the step 2. Yes, right. So it's really important at that point. So it goes back again to that part about communication. If you know that this member is only a member of your club, then it's incumbent upon you as the Basecamp manager, after you approve the level, file the award right away. And that's good as well for your club, for DCP purposes. Just do it. But if you know that they're a member of multiple clubs, then after you've completed, just talk with them and ask, do you want to give the award to us?
Yes? People assumed that was automatic, that when you approved it in Basecamp, automatically got credited in the old
Okay, well,
way.
That's right.
That was the assumption.
That was the assumption. Well, yeah, okay, so let me clear that and say that that's not the case. They are two separate systems. It is a two-step process. You approve in Basecamp, the level completion, then you file the award. They're naturally a two-step process because, again, we can give our awards to whoever. And Basecamp doesn't know who we're going to give a DCP award to. It has no concept of that. So it's why it's a necessary two-step process that we as Basecamp managers have to be on top of. Yes?
The members listening in from Zoom sometimes don't get the full picture of understanding audience's questions. So just as one request, can we get the microphone, before we ask the questions, can we get the microphone to them so everyone here can have the benefit of listening in
Agree.
to the full questions?
Agree.
Thank you.
And I'll also try to repeat the question so that our members on Zoom can hear that as well. Okay, one more question. Yes.
Sorry, I've got another question regarding dual members. So, for example, if a dual member was completed like level 2 at one club, and they approve it on that club, and then they're on level 3 now, but then will it show up as level 3?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
All right, sure.
Yes. They're level 3 already. And again, when it says show up as level 3 in the other club, well, remember, unless this person made us their home club, we'll never see them. So the moment they do make us their home club, they will see them, and if they're at level 3 at that point, we'll see them as level 3. Okay? All right, let's move on. Let's go a little faster now. Let's talk about something here which I think we should make a practice in our clubs. It's about printing certificates. This is where we start recognizing our members for their accomplishments. And I always like what Ross Wilkinson tells me. Like, one of his selling points to members who are potentially joining his club, he says, you join our club, I can guarantee you a certificate in 6 months. That's his line. And some people, they like that. Yo, I'm going to get a certificate of completion in 6 months. And that's very doable. We can do 3 projects in 6 months. Unlike in the old program where you had to do 10 in 6 months, that's, for most people, unachievable. Okay, it's possible, but for the average person, it's unachievable. But now we can say, I'll give you a certificate in 6 months, guaranteed. And we're going to help you complete those 3 projects in 6 months. Very, very doable. So I recommend that we make this a practice. When someone completes a level, let's print out their certificates. They can do that themselves, but let's do it for them so we can award it to them in the club. And that's not just for the benefit of the member receiving it, it's for the benefit of everyone in the club who's witnessing. Okay? It builds a very positive culture. So I'm going to show you how, as Basecamp managers, how can you print the certificates. Okay, let's go once again inside. Okay, so I'm here logging in as the Basecamp manager. Now, remember, you can search anywhere. Remember that search bar? There's a question earlier, that search bar, can I see it only in the level completion? No, you can see it anywhere. That search bar is anywhere and everywhere in the Basecamp manager. So type in the name of that person that you want to look for. In this case, I'm using myself as an example. But you can see anyone, not just your own. Then, once inside, you just go to the transcripts. Okay, go to the transcripts. As before, open the path that they're looking at. Okay, so you're back here. This is where we were before, right, earlier, okay? And then I'm going to go to the level 2 completion. Notice that the button at that point, because I finished it, I approved it. Oh, sorry, I didn't approve myself. Someone approved it on my behalf. But it was approved. That button now becomes View Certificate. And then when you click on that button, it launches a new window. And then you might have to do it, but there it is. Okay? So it shows up there. There's a certificate signed by Mark Daly, the international president at that point. So wow, it's Toastmaster International President. Wow. Woohoo.
She got it early and signed it.
Woohoo! There you go. Daniel Rex, Chief Executive Officer. So big titles there, signing your certificate. You can just print it out the nice paper, like, the thicker GSM ones, so they're not flimsy. Maybe you can even frame it. It's up to you, whatever you want to do. Make it colored. That's my printer, unfortunately, is black and white, but if you have a colored printer, make it colored. And then present it there, and after you present it to the member, let them have a speech. Give 1 or 2 minutes to speak, to talk. I think they would appreciate that. And that was also very good for all the members watching as well. It's a really great way to honor people in their journey and to encourage them to go even further in Toastmasters. Okay, any questions on printing certificates? All good? Pretty simple? Somewhere in the chat? We have something in the chat?
No, we're good.
We're good. All right, let's go to the Basecamp Manager reports. I'm going faster now because I'm conscious of time, so I'm just going to head straight to the reports. This is the other major part of Basecamp Manager. How do we manage the people in the system and see their progress? Okay. So as you can see here myself, I'm once again logging into the system. I'll just hurry up a little bit. Okay, I'm back here. I've chosen my club, who I want to see. And in this case, I wanted to choose Belmont Toastmasters. So again, you can only see the members of your home club. So if you're a dual member, you want to go looking at different clubs, just switch your home club. I've set myself to Belmont at this point, and then I'm logging in as the Basecamp Manager. Okay, now this time, I'm going to the second box, Member Progress. That's the one we're going to do. Okay? All right. Let's highlight some things that you can see on screen right now. There's 5 tabs. There's 5 different types of reports that you can see. Okay? The first 2 are the most, for me personally, in my opinion, the most useful. Okay, I'll go through all of them quickly, but I'll spend a lot more time in the first and the second one because for me, I think that's where you get the most value, and not so much the others. Okay, and sometimes you might see this. It says no records found in this report. So when that happens, all you need to do is click on the refresh button. Okay, there's a refresh button that you can see in the options. Okay, so options, drop down, refresh. That's what you want to do. And it might take some time because it's doing a lot of computations and whatever. So please be patient with it. But eventually, it's going to get to the point we're in. It's going to show you something. Okay, so this is what we're going to see right now. So from this slide, I can see that there are 3 members, okay, in innovative planning in my club. Okay. It's funny that they put the 1.5 as decimal points. There's no such thing as 2.5 people. It's silly, but that's just how it is. It's a black. So just look at the whole number here. So this is 3 people in innovative planning. There's 1 person in persuasive influence and 2 people presentation masteries. There you go. So that's an overview, and they're all in level 1. So that's the level 1 progress. And as you go down further, you can obviously scroll down and see who's in level 2. Okay, level 2, there's only 1 person at this point, persuasive influence. And there's 1 person, level 3, presentation mastery. Okay, so that's the progress that you can see. There's no one level 4 or level 5.
Is it possible to see the names of the various people?
Yes, I'm going to get to that in a bit. Robert?
Be patient, Rob.
Okay.
Patience is a virtue.
All right, so here, have a look at this. So in the upper right there, there's a little tiny arrow button. It doesn't show up until you put the cursor right near it. And then when you do so, there's some options there. You can do view details and export to Excel. Let's choose the first option, view details. All right. You can still see the graph on top there, which is similar. But down here, now you can start seeing names. Again, I blanked them for privacy purposes. But again, you'll see the names. So it plays a little note, the mask for privacy purposes. But these are the names, and these are the Toastmaster IDs, the member ID. So you can see who are the 3 people in innovative planning. You can see who is in persuasive influence.
All right.
Okay? And for those of you who like to geek out over these things and do some other things, there is an option to, there, I just showing this video there that you can also actually show the numbers there. The numbers aren't initially showing, but you can show it if you want. There is a way to export to Excel. So there's an option there, export to Excel. Click on that, and it downloads a file in Excel. You can see in the lower right corner. There's something there. Download it. Lower left, I should say. I don't know where my right and left are. I open it up, and this is what I see. I see the graph again, as you saw it. There's a little nice graph in Excel. Kudos to them for doing that. And right below, there you go. That's the same information there, and now it's in Excel format. You can slice and dice the data however you want, but it's all there. Again, hidden the names for privacy purposes, but that's it. That's where everyone is. And again, just take note, I know I've said this earlier, but you will never see a person in that list if they don't select you as the home club. That's the unfortunate limitation. So you just ask some people if they're dual members, hey, where are you right now? Okay, so we're good? What else can we do here? Let's go now to the second report, the path progress. So the report number one, I think is the most useful for us. The second one is more like, okay, so now we know individual progress, like where's the path progress, like where people are in terms of the path. So here, an overview, I see 3 people in, I think this is level 3. Yeah, this is a level 3. Let me see that. Oh no, sorry, that's the count. That's not the level 3, that's more like how many people. So there's 3 people in innovative planning, 1 person in the Pathways Mentor Program, there's 1 person there's 2 people in Persuasive Influence, 3 in Presentation Mastery, and so forth. So again, just overview of where people are in terms of the path. If you're wondering about this Pathways Mentor Program, that's a secret program, it's a secret path that you can get for free if you finish level 2. Finish level 2 of any path, this one becomes available for you to enroll in. The Pathways Mentor Program. And if we go down here, look at this, Pathways registered, not yet started. So this is where we find out who in our club hasn't registered yet in Pathways. So these are the people that you then identify and say, oh, let's have a chat. How come you're not yet in Pathways? Are you having difficulties? And then that's when you start helping them out. Okay, let's be proactive. Let's not wait for them to contact us like I did, which is not very good. Let's use the information here and reach out to them and have a chat. Pathways in progress. So that's where you can see where people are again. And paths completed. Not really as useful as the first one. And I think as we go down the line here, they get less and less useful, in my opinion. But perhaps if you see some use for them, then that's fine. They all have the same features wherein you can refresh it and then you can download, I believe, some of the data to Excel. So here, again, you can see, as before, this is report number 2. You can see the status of the path, and then you can see where they are in each one. You can see the actual members name. And like before, you can also export this to Excel. It almost looks like the first report, to be honest, which is why, personally, again, I find the first one enough. The third kind of report is called the path type. Okay? And this is where you can see who's doing it online and who's doing it via paper. That's all this report is showing. So I suppose if there's anyone here who's doing the paper path, then they probably need some extra help. They don't have the ability to submit awards online, so you'll have to give them extra assistance. They have to do everything by paper. Just remember, when we buy a path, you can choose the online version or you can choose the paper version. So for those who don't have access to the internet, they choose the paper version. You can see who they are here. I trust most of us, if not all, are on the online, so that's why I personally don't see value in this report. Okay. Recently selected path, again, you just see who's just started pathways in the last 3 months, in the past month. So perhaps they're brand new, so therefore they might need extra help, extra guidance. So it's just an indicator of when they started their pathways journey. Finally, the external training. How many members have submitted external training requests? So that would give you a graph and see, oh, there's something there. But you'll also be able to see it in the same spot as the level approval completion. Remember that the page we talked about at length earlier? That would show level completion requests. It will also show external training requests. This shows it in a graphical format, but you can also see the actual person's record in that other screen. Again, I don't see how useful this is, but if you do find something, then that it's there. All right. In summary, we've gone through quite quickly the reports, but as you can see, individual progress, that shows you everything that you really need to know about your members, where they are in their path. And you can refresh the data, you can see who the actual names are, and you can export the data to Excel. So that's the main takeaways I wanted to give you for the reports section. Any questions? Yes. Whoops. Yes, please. Can we have the microphone here, Henry?
I just have a very simple question.
Yes.
I have already my username and password via the Toastmaster.
Yes.
I became a secretary from 2 months ago.
Yes.
How can I change? How can I see these added features in my? Do I need to ask the VP to change my role?
No.
Or because at the moment I don't have access to any of these.
You should have. If you are a secretary right now, currently in your club, you should have access right away. So if that's not there, then we should contact Toastmasters International to figure out why.
Not today though, because Basecamp is down.
Basecamp is down, that's right.
If you're looking now, you won't be able to see it, but
After the outage, yes. Check again. You should see that button there. Are you a dual member of a club, or are you just one?
No, just one.
Okay, then you should see that button right away there on the login screen. You see there's 2 buttons. One is login to Basecamp. The one below that says login to Basecamp Manager.
With the same credentials.
With the same credentials, that's right.
Thank you.
Yes.
Did you receive an email welcoming you to Toastmasters as a club officer?
No, not yet.
Then you haven't been registered in your website by somebody, I think.
So that's also the thing. So we check with the club secretary in the previous year, because I believe it's the club secretary of the prior year's responsibility to submit the new officers list to Toastmasters International informally. Yes, we have a question. Yes,
Can I just
yes,
catch
Paul.
up, on saying that we approve this award submission, but the awards might go to other club. But do we need to specify which club the awards were submitted to, and how the TMI will know this?
You're asking, as the Basecamp manager, who decides where the award goes to? Did I understand you right?
The members will decide.
Yes, the members will decide,
but
correct.
do we indicate anything when we submit that?
Now, as far as you're concerned, if you are a level, you just approve their completion request in Basecamp, and if they decide not to give it to your club, that's it, you move on. You're done.
But do we need to mention that in the submission?
No, you don't need to mention that.
We just approve.
You just approve it there, yes. There are 2 separate systems. So the Basecamp system doesn't have any concept of distinguished club program. No concept of it. So don't bother indicating in there anything. You just say, as far as pathway is concerned, I approve your request.
But we can ask the members later whether they want
Absolutely, that's what I've been recommending. After you submit that, you ask them, do you want to give it to us? If they are a dual member.
What happens if two clubs also submitting and two clubs also want that award? It won't happen.
Well, it will never happen that two clubs are submitting because they can only submit to the home club. They choose a home club. So if they say Victoria Park is my home club, only you will get notified. No one else will. So no one else can be submitting the level completion.
Yeah, level completion.
Level completion.
So award.
But the awarding, so that's when the member then decides who they want to give it to you. If they say, I give it to Victoria Park, then you take that extra step.
Got it. Two separate.
Two separate tests,
Thank
exactly.
you.
Okay, are we good? All right, let's proceed here. So I've shown you already the reports. I'll show you some more videos I've made. It's unfortunate that the system is still down, so you'll have to look afterwards. Oh, let's talk about external training requests. Now, as we mentioned earlier, I'll just make this bigger. This is a mechanism to handle the dual members and document that we are giving a speech away from our home club. Okay, so this is that mechanism that Toastmasters provided us so that we don't have to be in a situation where they have to ask the evaluation form. I will show you how to do it, but I am skeptical whether this is really the best approach. And I'll show you why in a moment. You'll see why. So to create an external request, the member has to go into their Basecamp, not Basecamp Manager, but Basecamp, okay, and go to their education transcript. Whoops. Okay, and then once in the education transcript, they're here in the transcript section. The external request option is actually hidden over here in those triple dots there. Quite obvious, eh? It's red right there in the triple dots. When you click on that, then you get the option Add External Training. Okay, that's where you find it. It took me a while to figure that out, but that's where it is. And then, once you select that option, you are presented with a form. And here are some instructions. Again, it explains the purpose of this form, and as we mentioned earlier, it is a mechanism to document that you are giving a speech in another club or outside of Toastmasters, so that is perhaps the evidence, one of the evidence that you as a Basecamp manager needs to approve the eventual level completion. And you can see here the form is quite comprehensive. Let's just scroll down here. Look at that. So you have an assignment, your plan for completing the assignment. Wow, look at that. Who you will present it, and the dates, the path that you're selecting. Look at that, the path and the project itself. So yeah, it's all there. Plan, location, completion, and then after that, oh, look at that, even attachments. I can present attachments in there. And at the end of that, we'll submit it. And once I submit this goes back, this will then appear in the level completion screen of the Basecamp managers. And that's your information. Then you can then choose to approve or reject that. But that is essentially your proof. That's the mechanism. Now you know the how. Let me just share, again, a personal perspective. And again, this is just my personal opinion. I don't find that this is really workable in most cases. Because essentially you're asking them to go through Basecamp and fill up a form in there. It's a multi-step process. I mean, it's simple enough, but so is firing an email. What's wrong with just me writing to my VP and say, hey, I'm giving a speech at this club on this date for this level, this project. That's it. I'm not even bothering to ask permission. I'm just letting you know I'm doing it. So it's faster, it's more convenient, it's accessible. This one is multi-step. It's a lot. There's a lot to do to get to this point in submitting. And once you approve it, okay, once you approve the level completion request, it disappears from that screen. So where's your proof now that it ever happened? I can show you where that is, but again, it's in a quite an obscure place. So how workable is this really? I think it can be if you really commit to the process, but it requires committing to the process not from your end, but also from your members' end. How workable is that? I'll leave it to your clubs to decide that. Yes, Rob. Well, he's got the mic. Sorry, we'll let him speak first. Yeah?
Question from Chad. So external training is not outside Toastmasters. It's simply when you complete something from your project or level that you present at another club. So
Okay, so the question is that only for projects outside of your home club? And I don't know if you mentioned, if you saw it there, there's an option actually to also present the project outside of Toastmasters. You can present it at your workplace or your community or wherever that's appropriate for that project. And that's essentially just documenting that as well. So not just necessarily outside your home club, but outside of even the organization, Toastmasters itself. Who's got the mic? Yes, Rob first.
I applied
After.
to do a project outside of the club.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to be the target speaker at an area contest.
Okay.
Fine.
Yep.
That was 2 years ago, and the level has been approved and completed. I'm now 2 levels past it, but the Vice President Education never approved me to do this outside. And I'm going to have to get my new club to get rid of it. So I think this is more of a nuisance than a...
Fair enough. Again, you don't get notified. Well, you do get notified if there's an external training request. You get an email just like you do for a level completion request. But instead of saying level completion, it says external training request. And then you have to deal with it in a similar manner. Now, again, it's as the case of Robert, if 2 years later it's still there, what do you do with it? So again, I wonder, I understand that they gave this mechanism there just to overcome the need to ask for evaluations for dual members. That's probably what they thought of. But then, yes, you fulfill that criteria, but how workable is it on a practical level, on the club level? I don't know. You have a
comment in relation to your external presentations need to be evaluated by a current Toastmaster.
Sure. Fair enough, yes. So whoever is evaluating you must be a member of Toastmasters, even if it's not a Toastmaster setting. Yes?
Regarding workability, in any system there's going to have to be an element of trust somewhere. Otherwise
Sure.
you end up like some of these crazy paranoid communist regimes where you've got watchers watching This makes a lot more work than slamming a manual down on a desk and saying initial here. Yeah. It's going to be more of a pain than anything purposeful.
Exactly. So again, they tick the box by giving us the functionality and saying, yeah, use this. But again, on a practical level, on a club level, how workable is this really?
So is this option is just a tool?
It's just a tool. It's a tool. You can use it if you want. You can choose not to use it if you don't want.
So as long as you see the way I send the email to my VPE, as long as she fine, that's it. Yeah. Later she can.
Yeah, if that works for your club. I mean, you sent an email to her and that's proof, and then maybe she can verify that you actually did it there, then that's fine.
Sometimes like this may become another club. They've got a vacancy, short notice. I just do it afterwards, just have a chat with VPE. As long as she's happy or he's happy, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, they given us the tools. How workable is it really? There's a lot of tools actually in Basecamp, which you think on paper looks really good, but is it really workable? One of those is the chat system. I remember there's one member who sent me an email for this session, and he's wondering, what about that feedback system in Basecamp? Is there any use to that? Because I don't get emails about the feedbacks. And the answer to that question is yes, you do not get emails about those feedbacks. If someone goes into the system and sends you a message that says, hey Ray, can you give me a feedback on my icebreaker project? And funny enough, last night I actually just went there randomly and I saw there was someone who months ago gave her icebreaker and asked me, hey Ray, can you give me a comment on my icebreaker speech? It was unread and I did not know about it because the system doesn't send you emails. I'm not going to go into Basecamp randomly just to check that thing out unless I feel like it. So to do it on a regular basis is just not workable. So that poor message has just been there for months and I haven't addressed it. They have this entire messaging board there in Basecamp where you can post messages, post badges to each other. But if we're not in there regularly using it, what's the point? Again, that's just my personal opinion. Maybe for some clubs you find you're actually making the most of it. But that just requires commitment from every single member to use the system on a regular basis, use those functionalities on a regular basis. But that's that really superior than just talking with people, sending SMS, sending emails. Questions so far? We're nearing the end. So these are all the video presentations I have for you. Let me see if I have one more. Yep, that's it for now. These are for after. These are not Basecamp videos. Yes, Michael.
Question from Chad. If you make a feedback comment to a member,
yes,
is it visible to anyone else?
I think if you make it private to the person, it should only be to that person. It appears on their board. And I think you can also set a comment to be everyone, so everyone sees it in the board. So I think there's that kind of functionality. To be honest, I haven't really played with it so much because I don't find it useful personally. It's not useful if not everyone in the club commits to using that. I understand that was the intent and purpose, to provide the club a place, a venue where you can all communicate with each other in your own little nice chat group. But my two clubs don't use it, and I'm not enforcing it on anyone. So
to add to Ray's comment there, we tried in our club to use it over the last 18 months and actually put out messages to everyone. And there was not one single reply engaged.
It's quite encouraging, right?
And I actually had to ask people to log on in front of me, go into their profile and look. And the message was embedded in there that we found on a couple people's profiles, but they never even knew that they had a message in there.
I rest my case. It's not helpful. If we don't know about the message, what's it? If they just added the ability to email us, that would have been a game changer. Because then we can reply in our emails. You know, if we can reply in our emails and then send it back, and then it just adds it to that comment board, then that's great. But that's just not there.
It's a good tool. Does that mean like farmers can reflect back to TI to get it?
Sorry, yes?
To get like exactly the feedback thing is really wonderful. It's where there's tool can make it got an email notification. People make opt in or off, but at least got a bit.
Sure. I think that's possible. We can certainly give feedback to them. I'm not sure if it is going to be doable or even high in the priority. The reason is because this Basecamp is actually using a packaged software called Cornerstone On Demand. So it's basically, there's a vendor that created a software, and then Toastmasters International just repurposed it to do their program. That's why it feels clunky in certain things, because it's a packaged software. There are other companies using it like this, and they can't change it just for Toastmasters International. So it's just a necessary side effect that it is going to be clunky. And part of the clunkiness is this one, that it can't send emails. Okay? I did want to show you one more video I just made up. So let me just bring up my because I did promise you I'd tell you, like, where do you see all those comments? So remember, you put in a comment, you approve the level completion, and you say approved. And you put a message, and then you say approved. Where do you actually see that? Because that doesn't get sent in emails. So I'll show you where it is in Basecamp. So education transcript. I'm going to go, my path is presentation mastery. So I'm going to go inside here. And this, you notice this time I'm clicking on the link itself. I'm not clicking on the big red button. For some of you who've attended my trainings in the past, I've always said, always click on the big red button. But this time I'm clicking on the link. Okay? And this brings me to the transcripts page, the actual detailed transcript page, which kind of confused me when I was still new to the system. I didn't know what had the tail in that. But right here, as you can see, these are all the projects in my path. So in level 1 completion, as you can see there, okay, I'll just highlight this for you over here. I'm looking at level 1 completion in particular. So level 1, and this line, I'm going to go to the very right here in this little button there. Okay, that's where I'm going to go. And then once I do that, I'm shown this little training details. And then I have to click on transcript history. And there it is. There's the history. It was completed by, and that's it. That was the comments from my club president. She approved my level completion request, and she said, well done, Ray. You're the first member of Aspire to complete level 1 in your chosen path. Cheers, Marie. Thank you very much.
Where's the smiley face?
I'll tell her next time to give me a smiley face. But there you go. That's where it is. So if you want to do any auditing and any of those comments, that's where it appears. A bit obscure. You have to dig around a lot in the system. It took me a while to find this, but yes, that's where it is. And again, we're using a packaged software, so we can't really change that too much. How useful is this? Well, I guess if you really want to be a private investigator and dig up and see if this person really did, who was approving all these levels, then you can do so. But this is, again, incumbent on the person approving to put some documentation. You notice it doesn't say here Marie's login name. It doesn't show her username at all. So if she didn't put her name there, it'll just be blank. Who approved it? I guess the person who was the VP at that time? So that's why recommended practice to assist in auditing purposes, please sign your name when you approve it. Put your name, put your title, and whatever comments you may have. Can we have the microphone for Maury, please?
The comment's always been made about the VPE doing this. We found in our clubs, often the VPE is one of the most overworked members.
Agree.
So in general, and in all the clubs we've been in, the secretary has taken on this role.
Sure.
Rather than VP.
Sure.
Basecamp Manager.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. So again, it's going back to what I said earlier, that this is a team effort. Toastmasters International recognizes that this is a critical part. If this is not getting done, then your members cannot proceed in Pathways. And that's why they made it a team effort. Not just the VP, they've given it to president and secretary. Work as a team in your clubs to figure out what's the best way to do this.
And so in your club, what does the secretary do? Submit the awards?
Secretary does Basecamp Manager, everything.
Right.
As the first protocol, if the secretary's not there, the VP or the president.
All right. Okay, so let's go next. Right, now that I've finished with the demonstrations, where do we go for more help? Okay, we got our District 17 website. There's a lot of information there that we're putting on to help our members in the district, so please refer to it. In particular, I want to show you this particular URL. Please copy it down. If you go to that link right now, I'll give you 15 seconds, then because I want to click on that link and I want to go there. But just write that down quickly. 15 seconds. No pressure.
Just take a photo.
There you go. bit.ly/pathways D17. How easy is that? Pathways D17, District 17. Okay, so now I'm going to go there right now, and it's going to open my browser. So this is the Pathways page that I made. And here, this is a great section over here to anyone who's totally new to Pathways. Help get them set up from 0 to finishing their icebreaker in 3 simple steps. Step 1, set up your accounts. Step 2, start your first speech project, which is the icebreaker. And step 3, finally complete the self-evaluation, completing the icebreaker. And each of these videos they're quite short. I think the longest would be the second one, which is around 9 minutes. The rest are really shorter than that, so it's very digestible. Down here are a second set of videos for navigating Basecamp. So for those of you who already know how to complete your icebreaker, these are some of the other things that you might not know how to do, like disable pop-ups, how do you complete the level, and unlocking the Pathways mentoring path. And finally, down here, the last set of videos is Basecamp Managers. And these are the videos I actually used for this morning's workshop because we couldn't have Basecamp Manager there for us live. So I just went through the videos here. So just watch the videos again here to find out how to do a level completion, the approve one, how to print certificates, and how to view the Basecamp Manager reports. And if there's any video that you'd like me to make that's not currently here, just feel free to use this form here. Just put in your name, your email, and tell me your requests and send your suggestions. Happy to make more videos if they're not available right now here. So I would recommend that you share this page to your members, especially if they're brand new to Pathways. This will be very helpful for them. And for your experienced members, this one. And for the Basecamp managers, if you want to review everything in this workshop without going through 3 hours of content, then these are a lot shorter and they can help you figure out how to do these specific tasks. And that concludes the workshop proper. I'm opening the floor now to any questions from the floor. And I'd also request that if you can give us some feedback on how to improve the workshop, simply go to this link here and enter the answers to the survey. It's quite short only. It takes about a couple of minutes to finish, but if you can do that, that would be appreciated. It'll help us to improve the workshops for future years. Thank you again for your presence and for participating in today's workshop. And I'll stick around if there are anyone else needs assistance. Thank you.